Today we're making an English style trifle. It's my friend's recipe and we're going to try to do it justice. It's going to be a little bit different. What we've done is just added 2 packages of Jell-O and 1.5 cups of hot water and 1.5 cups of cold water. We're going to begin by making the Jell-O first, and we're not going to question it, we're just going to go with it. So we're going to not add as much hot water as what you'd normally add. So we've got 2 packages of Jell-O. So we're going to add 1.5 cups instead of the 2 of the hot water. And we're going to stir this up and mix it until it's dissolved. Okay, a little bit boring, but we'll get there. And as soon as the Jell-O is dissolved, we're going to put these lovely lady fingers into this bowl, and we're going to make like a crust type of thing. When the Jell-O is absorbed into the lady fingers, it makes like a lovely cakey substance without actually making a cake like what you would do with a traditional type of trifle. Yeah, this isn't hot enough, so that's why I'm because it's got to be dissolved totally before I add the cold water. So we're adding another cup of water, cold water this time. So we're adding 1.5 cups of hot, and we're going to add 1 cup of cold. So we're going to set this aside, and we're going to put some lady fingers in this lovely bowl. And it spins. All right, so we'll take, and it doesn't matter how fancy it is and how particular you're going to be, because it's going to absorb the Jell-O. So it's going to be kind of like a cake consistency when we're done. Then we begin to add all the fun stuff to it. And I'll show you all the variations for different types of the year, different occasions perhaps. So we'll toss these in. All right. So very easy. We slowly pour the Jell-O mixture, and it's okay if it's warm. You don't need to partially set it first or anything. There we go. So as long as it's covered so that it could absorb evenly. So there it is. You get the idea from that. And now we're going to bring out one that I've previously done. So we're going to just put this aside. So this one is really nicely set. And as you can see, it looks okay. It looks good. We won't be seeing the top anyway, just all the prettiness from the sides. So the first thing we're going to add is a vanilla pudding mixture. Whether you make a cooked pudding or the instant pudding with whatever milk of your choice or cream or whatever you decide, whatever flavor that you'd like for the fruit that you're using, then go ahead and put it on this layer. Right now we're using orange and the vanilla pudding. So we'll just put all this on, and you don't have to be fancy or particular as long as all the layers are in. So when you scoop it out, it's going to have all your nice colors and like a parfait without all the work and all the mess of all the different glasses. I put mine in wine glasses. So we'll just this round. And depending on the size of your bowl, you can add 2 packages of pudding or 1. You can put, let's say, your pudding and then fruit and more pudding and then whipping cream. You can decide what you want to do with determining on what you're adding in your layers. So we've got this done. Now, with clean hands, we're going to put the peaches, because we're making it a springtime feel to it. So we're putting real fruity types of flavors here. If I was adding, let's say, chocolate pudding, you could do a cherry jello, and you could put cherry pie filling perhaps. Make it, you know, add your flavors the way you like it. But this is just one example of what you can do. Instead of peaches, you could also use pineapple. Okay, these are a little bit slippery. All right, so just get them on somehow, just so that every spoonful has some nice fruit to it. That's basically what we're after, just so that there isn't any spaces and gaps. So everybody's got a little bit of good flavor. All right. So that's done. Now, to just give it a little bit more pizzazz, let's put some bananas on top of the peaches. If the bananas are sitting for a little while, you can always toss them in lemon juice, just a little bit of lemon juice and sugar. So we'll just add this around quickly, just so it looks kind of nice from the outside and, you know, appealing when you when you're serving it out. These are nice fresh bananas, so they have good color, good texture. We don't want to use something that's too green or overly ripe. Okay, almost done. Now, the next layer is our yummy whipping cream. So we'll spread that. If it's really nice and thick, you can always go in with a cake decorator and do a little piping. You could top with coconut, or if you're doing a chocolate and cherry mixture, you could put whatever, grated chocolate, walnuts, whatever you decide. Make it yours. Make it your own colors for the season that you're using it for. Okay. See, so if you have something that you need to quickly make for an event or company, or just special for your family, it's nice for a summer barbecue. You could just layer up some real yummy food and it looks really pretty. And then we're going to top it with my favorite, oranges. I love these things. I put them in salads. I put them on chicken. I put them everywhere because I just love them. So, make it look pretty. Oh, this bowl is handy the way it turns like that. All right. Nice springtime feel to it. All right. I think we're going to have just the right amount of oranges. And this is the canned oranges. A little bit in the middle here. We'll have a little bit, and just to show you what it looks like. But the longer it sits, an hour or two, it's going to firm up a little bit, so it'll be nicer to serve. It'll be just a little bit more compact, but it's okay. So we'll take some out. If you have a nice spoon that's sort of deep, it works the best, because you can get all the layers. This maybe isn't perfect, but all the flavors will be together, even if it isn't exactly. All right. So as you can see, it's got, like, the better you can serve it, of course, the layers will show up that much nicer. But there's the Jell-O layer, and we're going to just show you the texture of the ladyfingers. It's very much like cake, so it's not jellyish. It's more like a cake. So it's very pleasant. It's not sticky. It's not overly moist. Very nice. And then, of course, the pudding. So everything's in a nice layer. You can, when you have a taste, you get a little bit of everything. Thank you. I hope you enjoy making it. Cabbage probably does not top the list of people's to-go for vegetable when you're entertaining, or when you have the oven going anyway, and you're going to see from the first time that you make this, it's nothing like what you anticipate. This is going to be cabbage steak. So what we're going to do is cut up our cabbage into fair size steaks. So make it maybe a ½ inch, a little bit less than ½ inch. And cabbage is a funny vegetable that if you fry it, boil it, saute it, bake it, it tastes totally different every way you make it. And it's just such an exciting, versatile vegetable. And as you can see, it just if you cut it lengthwise, like going top to bottom, then you can go around the core and then put that in your soup stock or whatever else you're making. We even have recipe books now with using all the extra vegetables and peelings and all kinds of stuff. So we're not wasting anything. And this is such a good recipe to not waste a thing. So we're going to actually add just a little bit of oil at the bottom, because we're going to be drizzling it over the top anyway. So we want to not have it too oily. So we'll just lay these and try not to overlap them very much. So fit them into a good sized pan, and they're not going to stick, and you're not going to have a big mess. You can use a sill mat or any one of your non-stick mats or silicone papers of any sort. So, or any of your favorite pans that don't stick. So we're going to just arrange these steaks. And this is so easy, and especially if you have your oven going anyway, it's just such a great thing to do. And then you could just forget about it for about 35-40 minutes, get on with your other parts of your meal, and you have a wonderful vegetable to go with it. All right. And then whatever you don't use, you can always use in another recipe. And it lasts so long in the fridge, you can take your time with using it up too. All right, so now we have some nice steaks. Now what we're going to do is pour over a little bit more oil of your choice, and even a garlic oil, a rosemary oil even, but use something more plain until you get the idea of what it tastes like and what you prefer the finished result to be. There we go. So what we're going to do is add a little bit of garlic powder, and if you have garlic oil, then of course you'd eliminate that part. Or if you have your own just crushed garlic or something, use that. Use whatever you feel would give you the most flavor. And a little bit of onion powder. And because they're thick, and it does absorb flavors very readily, so don't be afraid to put a little bit more than maybe you would in other recipes. Just give it a really good sprinkling. Then let's put salt on. This is the sea salt. I really like sea salt. It's so sweet and yummy. It doesn't have that bitter tang. There we go. Now, even if you're not vegetarian, if you normally eat dairy, you could put Parmesan cheese, or you can still put the nutritional yeast. And I just love the taste of nutritional yeast. It just has such a lovely flavor. So I'm putting, in this case, nutritional yeast. So we'll be a little bit generous with this. And then we're going to just pop it into a 375 oven. So begin watching it at about half an hour. If it's at 375, about half an hour would be a good time gauge to, as it starts getting a little bit brown, then you can gauge it to how much doneness that you want. I like it fairly dark on top, so I usually leave it at least 40 minutes. If you already have your oven at 350, then go ahead and put it in, and then you just might have to leave it a little bit longer. And our cabbage is finished. Let it sit about 5 minutes before you take it out to serve it. It holds together really nice. A nice round piece, and all nice juicy goodness is in here. Oh, I'll show you what the texture is like. See, it's easy to cut. It's juicy. It's not tough at all. So these are things to look out for. If it's a little bit tough, just pop it back in the oven for a little bit longer, and you'll get a better texture. So this was 40 minutes at 375.